Good morning, welcome back to OutYourShell. As we all know, there's a war going on. We've got the Ukraine being invaded by Russia. We're not going to make this a dark video. We're going to do something creative in support of the Ukrainian people. Most Ukrainian symbols are either floral or animalistic. And this is the Ukrainian symbol for freedom and loyalty. So we're going to be designing this gorgeous horse into a representation of the Ukraine. First thing we have to do, sand it down. As you can tell, I don't have the proper tools for this. I'm not masculine enough to have actual tools, but I'll get it done. Get in between them ears.
The layers to this reunion between mother and son are as complex as they are cruel. To hug his mother again, this Ukrainian boy had to say goodbye to his father, who was forced to stay back to fight, and have faith that a total stranger would deliver he and his sister across the border safely. That's the stranger, the boy said, pointing to the woman in yellow. And they cried. One mother for the joy of seeing her kids again, the other for what she may still lose, the two adult children she left behind in Ukraine. There is too much agony on Ukraine's border to process. It's tragedy on constant repeat. Little children still clutching the trappings of the happy, normal lives they lived only days ago, now confronted with miles to walk along a muddy border and an uncertain future.
My father is military, so he's in Kiev, he's defending Kiev.
If they haven't already paid a price for their freedom, they know it could still come down the road.
My message will be very short, that it can happen with you in every home in Europe, because nobody knows what Putin wants and where he will finish.
It's that sentiment that's drawn Oleg Hurt to this same border crossing. A Ukrainian who now lives in Germany. He didn't have to return to his homeland, but his mother, sister, and extended family are still there. The Russians, he says, must go. But oh, the sacrifice he's making. I've left my wife and 3 children behind, he says, but I'm going because I can't live with it. That's war, an endless series of awful choices where no one ever wins. Least of all the children who are seeing their families torn apart for reasons few can explain.
So now that Isa has fully whitened this glorious horse, let it drip with that blue. They're out there fighting, not just Ukrainians, those that went out afterwards. With 1 million people displaced, refugees still crossing the border, Poland taking on most of those refugees. Small, bald Putin fighting through lies, through a false narrative. On top of the Ukrainian war and how strong the Ukrainian people are dealing with it, Vladimir Zelensky, the Prime Minister, the President of Ukraine, being the most heroic person of the year, someone who was a comedian, a normal gentleman, has outshined our political leaders. Boris Johnson, who hasn't done anything, who couldn't even stick to isolation. Joe Biden, someone who's been in politics for years and still the dementia unit that he is. Vladimir Zelensky, Hats off to you, amazing person. A million people now displaced, mostly going to Poland. Myself and Isa, we will be there in months. Hopefully be able to go and give whatever aid we can to those refugees that need it. With this war only ending in 5 ways. It can be a short war, where it'll be a small battle that will be determined, taken over or regained by the Ukrainians. It could be a long war, something that's going to be extremely dragged out and dangerous. We could have European involvement in which European Union's NATO gets involved, whether the war spills over the Ukraine, into Poland, into other neighbouring countries. Diplomatic, or for Putin to simply be kicked out rather by the Russians, assassinated, who knows, we'll see. So for myself and Isa, we hope this war is quick, that the least amount of pain and suffering is endured. We stand with anyone that ever suffers. It doesn't matter what side you're on, suffering shouldn't happen in this day and age. To Putin, pass away, learn from this, move on, let the people go free, whether that's Russian or Ukrainian, everybody should have freedom. And for everyone else, hopefully you're doing well. Come out your shell, go do some good, support those that need it. Okay, bye.